again, and thanks for joining us on another edition of CMP TV. I'm Fergal McAlinden, news editor for Canadian Mortgage Professional. Here at CMP, we recently released the latest version of our annual Women of Influence list, recognizing the most prominent women executives in the Canadian mortgage industry today. Taking her place once again on that list was Tracy Falco, principal broker and founder at Falco Financial, and one of the country's most recognized brokers. I'm very pleased to be joined by Tracy for today's episode to take us through some of the reasons behind her rise in the mortgage industry and the importance of women being strongly represented as mortgage professionals. Tracy, thanks for joining us today. How are things with you?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Fergal. I'm really honored to be on the show today.
It's fantastic to have you here with us. And first of all, congratulations on your place on this list. How does it feel to have been recognized by your peers as a woman of influence?
I'm so humbled and honored. I mean, I've been in the industry a long time, 26 years, and, doing what I love to do is really helping and serving and supporting people and seeing our peers recognizing each of the women that are on this list. There's so many that are just so high caliber and dedicated to really making a difference. I'm just completely honored to be a part of such amazing women in our industry.
Okay, fantastic. And you're obviously a very well recognized person in the industry, Tracy, as I mentioned in my intro. But for those of our viewers who maybe don't know too much about you, could you just tell us a little bit about your career to date and how you arrived at this stage?
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. So I've actually been in the financial industry, I say, since I was little, because my parents were in the banking industry for over 30 years. So I grew up in that environment, and it was kind of natural for me when I finished university to get into the banking industry. And then, getting into the broker space was really a big aha moment for me because I realized that I really wanted to give people an umbrella of different options and opportunities for their financing. And so, taking myself as an individual agent and then growing into a broker and being able to look at, I think, brokering in a different lens. For me, it was the compassion piece that I really thrived on, looking at people's situations with their financing, what they were going through in life, and really being non-judgmental and being able to give them a path of like short and long-term strategies. I really thrived on that. For me, it was never about the mortgage. I always say I'm in the people business first, right? And I was able to grow, my business in a town where I moved, and I knew literally three people in my city, my husband and my grandparents. And now, we've got over 7,000 clients, not only in my area, but right across the country, because now we're licensed. So I realized about 5 years ago that I wanted to take all the tools that I was able to build up with my brokerage, or sorry, me as a broker, in the industry, and take it to the brokerage side. And so I opened up Falco Financial as a brokerage, ended up having 20 people come with me then. And now, we're almost 4 years into this, and we've got 70 agents and brokers across the country, fully licensed across the country. We've got coaching, mentorship. I've got an amazing leadership group with me, and it was really just all based on the foundation of raising each other up, supporting each other, and making sure that wherever anybody's excelled in their crafts, that we were able to take them to the next level and support them where they needed to do that. I don't think it's difficult to be able to get to this level. And I say success because I say we're all successful in the brokerage. I think you just got to do what's right and what's your passion. And for me, it was making a difference in helping people from the community to now on the brokerage side as well, and mentoring a lot of, the new people coming into the industry.
So, Tracy, obviously, our Women of Influence list recognizes mortgage professionals across a lot of different sectors between brokers, lenders, service providers, and more. But I'm just wondering if there are any really important traits that you think are common for a woman to be successful in the mortgage industry.
You have to have resilience. I got to tell you, that's got to be the number one. I think, my big lesson in this, over the years is, women as leaders in the financial spectrum has been, really not only undervalued, but underutilized. I don't know, going through the journey that I have, how many times I was told, well, as a woman, you're here, here's your place, this is where you need to be. And just being that resilient warrior that I am, like, no, this is where I know I deserve to be because I know I'm doing good for people. I think over the years, the compassion piece that I end up which I just is all of what I am. I am very, I say I'm an empath to be able to understand people's emotions and compassions. And a lot of people looked at that as a weakness in leadership, but it is so much more of the strength you need today to be a leader, because you need to be able to put people first, and then be able to raise them, and be able to foster what their strengths are to be able to have them excel. And I really think that I was able to do that very well over the years. So the resilience for me, for sure, and then weathering different economic storms as well that we've seen right over the years, being able to help people and everyone that's under, our team as well, right? I think being able to pivot, so pivoting in different situations, different, you know, like what we're dealing right now with inflation, different economic times, and trusting your gut. I don't know how many times I sat there over the years saying, you know what, I should have trusted what I thought was right, 5 months ago in making that decision. And when I started doing that, things really shifted for me. So I think those are the three strong traits that I think not only just women, I think people should have in general, right? Um, and I'm just going to throw another one in there. And I think it's compassion. I really do. I think it's compassion in an industry where we're all about numbers. We have to take that aside, and I think we really need to look at people's situation, because I think through money, there's trauma, and helping people through their trauma and recognizing it, you can really make some good headway, and see some good success with families and individuals.
Yeah, and that's interesting what you said, Tracy, about resilience, because obviously there's a steeper path to the top for women in the mortgage industry and many different sectors than there is for men. I'm just wondering if you could give us some insight into why it's so important for women to be strongly and equally represented in positions of influence in the industry.
Well, I was thinking about that question and I thought, why is it even asked? Right? We should all be equal, right? We should have, no matter what gender you are, you should have it really should be split 50-50 across the board, or it should be based on the merit of the strength that you bring, the value you bring. I think, when I look at the stats, I was looking at Deloitte, some stats from Deloitte and Touche. They said that, from on the financial services side, women only represent 24%. And in fact, when you look at it, for women leadership to rise to get into what they call the C-suite, for every woman that rises into the C-suite, three other women end up going into leadership as well when that actually does happen. So we need to start shifting the pendulum to see more women get into executive positions, because I do think they bring an element of different strengths that men don't necessarily have, so that we can have some equality and some balance in perspective and where we go going forward. I think that it's very important for women to be able to showcase their strengths and their model and what they can contribute, because we do have a different perspective. I mean, more women over the pandemic had to diversify and pivot in terms of what their responsibilities were at home, right? And still being able to, rise to the occasion as a leader, but be able to take care of their families and be able to do a hybrid approach or work completely at home, which we had to do for so many months, and still be able to maintain that takes a lot of resilience and understanding. I think bringing that into any type of sector, no matter if it's from the finance side or any industry you are in, is able to give a different approach to look at how you look at bringing teams into staff into places, so that you have equal playing field and be able to rise people up to what their capabilities are and what they want to do, what their passions are. So I think women, have more of a compassionate element, from a leadership perspective. And I think that needs to change more. We need to recognize women more, and be able to have the opportunity and see more diversity in the financial sector that way, with women rising up.
And so, Tracy, last of all, I just want to ask for young women who are starting out in the industry, do you have any advice for them as to how they might follow in your footsteps?
Absolutely. You know what? Young women entering into this financial sector need to find a mentor. When I first started out, I couldn't even find a woman to be a mentor. I just kind of had to go my own path, put my nose to the ground, and then eventually, as things developed, I was able to find some strong women that were leaders. But nowadays, there's an umbrella of amazing, outstanding leaders in our industry that are women that are huge advocates and are completely passionate about mentorship. So any young people that are entering into the financial sector as women, make sure you reach out. There's tons of different networks out there. WIMI's a great one to be able to connect with, where there is an array of women on there that would take someone by the hand to be able to walk them through this process. And it's a wonderful space to be in. And I think just like what I said, some of the three things you need, I think no matter if you're a woman or a man, you need to have the resilience, trust your gut, and believe in yourself. It took me a long time when I first got in to say, okay, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this and I'm able to do that. I had to hear the voice in my head say it. I didn't have someone else saying it. Nowadays the mentorship we do, we're very vocal in telling people, you're worth it. You're able to do what your skills are and go out there and just make a difference and impact. So I think there's so many opportunities and so many amazing people in this industry that they can really partner with.
Okay, well, I think that's a really positive note for us to leave things on today, Tracy. As always, great to speak with you and hear your insights. Congratulations again on being named as a woman of influence, and we look forward to hearing from you again soon.
Thank you so much, Virgo.
That's just about all we have time for on today's edition of CMP TV. Our thanks again to Tracy Valco for joining us today. Thanks to you for watching, and we'll see you next time.